Let's get away, mystery lady. I know the world is going crazy, but I can see you having my baby. Let's get away. Let's get away, mystery lady. I know the world is going crazy, but I can see you having my baby. Let's get away. Let's get away, mystery lady. I know the world is going crazy, but I can see you having my baby. Let's get away. Let's get away, mystery lady. I know the world is going crazy, but I can see you having my baby. Let's get away. Mystery lady, I know the world is going crazy, but I can see you having my baby. Let's get away. Let's get away, mystery lady. I know the world is going crazy, but I can see you having my baby. Let's get away. Let's get away, mystery lady. I know the world is going crazy, but I can see you having my baby. Let's get away. Let's get away, mystery lady. I know the world is going crazy, but I can see you having my baby. Let's get away. Let's get away, mystery lady. I know the world is going crazy, but I can see you having my baby. Let's get away. Let's get away, mystery lady. I know the world is going crazy, but I can see you having my baby. Let's get away. Mystery lady, I know the world is going crazy, but I can see you having my baby. Let's get away. Let's get away, mystery lady. I know the world is going crazy, I can see you having my baby. Let's get away. Let's get away, mystery lady. I know the world is going crazy.
Jamil, I remember in 2006 when you decided to go to Atlanta. I wasn't really excited about you going, but I saw that you were determined to go. Because when you were on your way, the car broke down, and you got out of your car and got into your cousin's car and had your car towed back home and kept going to Atlanta. And then from there, I just saw how you began to bloom. And you had your ups, you had your downs. And even though I was here and you were there, I was still just a phone call away. And we talked every day. It's just been exciting to see how you've grown, how you've changed your way of thinking, how you've enlightened me in your journey, how you've shared so much knowledge, and you've taught me so much. You've taught me how to think for myself. You've taught me how to investigate for myself and seek out the truth. And that's something that I never did before. And I'm really grateful for that. It has taken a lot of courage for you to do the things you've done. You have made me proud. I'm excited for you. I love you. I admire you. You encourage me to pursue the best me that I can possibly be. In all that I do, I share with you. And I'm grateful for that, and I love you.
Mystery lady, I know the world is going crazy. I can see you having my baby. Let's get away. Let's get away, mystery lady. I know the world is going crazy. Hey, let's get away. I don't know, every time I do that, it makes me wanna leave the water. I'm playing. What's going on, Q Quarles? Let me move you to the left. I like being to the right. Wait a minute. That's the wrong. Bam. There we go. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. I swear, every time I wake up in the morning, I get this Barry White type baritone to my voice that I don't have in the regular day. So I just want to keep talking until it
disappears.
Till it moistens up and disappears.
Well, apparently I do too. As you have told me before too.
Keith Quarles on the ones and twos.
In your many wake that ass up episodes back in the day.
Hello, excuse me. Can I speak to Keanu? This is she. No, it's not. You got to get some lotion back there to loosen some of that up.
You are so petty.
Have you ever spoke to somebody that you? Well, I've listened to people and in my mind I just be like, you got an ashy throat, like, like your voice box is ashy.
Oh my gosh. You got an ashy throat.
Yeah, you ever heard
of
a dude
the ones who sound like they smoke? They've been smoking since they was 3.
Yeah, you ever heard a guy that's sort of large in stature, whether you're just big, and he has a high pitched voice,
a small voice. Them, and what's so crazy is them be the ones whose nicknames is always Tiny.
And you see him, you be like, okay. How are you doing today, sir? Good evening. Oh man.
So you the one they call Tiny, huh?
Yeah. Where's the bass at? Is it on your throat or is it on your chest? Where is it at? Is it on your neck? We need to put a little bass in there. You got too much treble. Oh man, but yeah. Yeah, good morning. It's Saturday. And before we go any further, I want to wish Madison a happy birthday. I think she agreed unconsciously to give me 50% of all the birthday proceeds.
You said that yesterday. You should have seen the look on her face. She was like,
Good morning, Mama. Good morning, Mama.
Good morning.
Now we can get the show started. Good morning, Tanisha.
TT. What's up,
T.I. Yeah, okay, I was going to say T.T., but it's T.I. Good morning. Yeah, tell Madison to come on with some of them birthday proceeds. Tell her hold on to it, because when you get as an adult, all you're going to get is a happy birthday.
Listen.
Oh, it's your birthday? Happy birthday. Enjoy your day. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.
She was this close this year. She gets closer and closer every year.
Every little step you take, you not getting no birthday money. Every little step you wake.
Listen.
Good morning, Siobhan. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, everyone.
Yes, come on in, everybody. Pile on in.
Everyone.
With your oatmeal and your grits and never mind. Did you know people in the South put salt and pepper and cheese in their grits?
Yeah. The first time I ever had that, I was doing an internship in Atlanta, Georgia. For it was the wife and co-owner of the company I worked for was a cordon bleu chef. I was actually pregnant with Madison, and she made me some cheese grits. Had never had them, had never heard of them before in my life, and she brought them to me. I'm not even gonna lie. That changed my life. Don't you say
they was good. Don't you say they was good.
It changed my life.
Hold
it
on.
did. It
Let's
changed
get this
my
ready
life.
for you. Don't you say that.
It did. It changed my life. It was good to me. I loved it. So, but my palate, I could eat. I could eat grits in many different forms, but I can't do that with oatmeal.
Grits reminds me of warmed up, wet sawdust. So, if you're not gonna put sugar and butter on it, that just turns the sawdust to goo.
Wait, sawdust?
Good morning, Shishi. You know what I'm talking about. Tell them sawdust grits.
No.
Grits feel like the shavings of some dead skin or something. Like, who created, let's eat this, let's eat gritty grits. Let's eat grits, something that's gritty. No. Let's choose some ground up glass and put some cheese on it.
You know what? It's a movie called The Secret Life of Bees with Queen Latifah. And I had to look into this, but it's this ongoing thing throughout the movie where the little girl in the movie, she got when she would get punished, her pouring grits on the floor, on the hard floor, and kneeling down and putting her knees on the grits, and her just sitting there for a decent amount of time on them grits. That was a punishment.
I believe it. Just imagine it going down your throat into your stomach. My grits are good. I bet that baby.
How do y'all like y'all's grits? Do y'all like them with butter and sugar, or do y'all like them with cheese, salt, and pepper? How do y'all like y'all's grits?
See, butter and sugar.
I can eat both.
Butter and sugar mask everything disgusting. When you put salt and pepper on stuff, that exposes how like.
But I started out eating grits with the butter and sugar. Just like I don't know if you ever did that, but growing up, we also did that with rice too, with white rice.
Yes. Again, that's how you mask nastiness. So when your parents want you to eat stuff, especially when you don't have much money, it's like, we got a bunch of rice. We got to make it last. So we go, it was like rice was like the bubble gum shrimp. You made boiled rice. You put fried rice. You put gravy over the rice.
Okay. Made rice cakes, rice stew, rice soup.
Let's see. Did you say butter and sugar? if eating it by itself. There we go. See,
I can eat it both ways. So I started out eating it with butter and sugar when I was a kid. When I got older, I was introduced, like much older, I got introduced to the cheese, salt and pepper. And then when I moved to Texas, I was introduced to shrimp and grits.
yeah. So before I ever say something's nasty, I always try it. I don't. We talked about this before the show started, but I don't like hearing people say that they don't like something without trying it. So, I've tried shrimp and grits. I've tried shrimp with
Here we go.
salt, pepper, freaking cheese. I remember there was a event going on at the Flanner House in Indianapolis, and they had food trucks, and I bought, what's that called? It's shrimp etouffee. Basically, it's grits with shrimp and this crawdad, or what is those?
Crawfish.
Crawfish. And I gave the crawfish to my niece because I'm like, that thing is looking at you, eat it, and it's gonna haunt you. It's like, you really gonna eat me? You gonna break me apart? All right, and you just, okay, I'm coming to your dreams, Freddy Krueger style. And although it wasn't like throw up disgusting, but it just was like, why did we do this?
Yeah, I think a lot of dishes from the South that include grits and stuff like that probably started out as a poor man's dish.
Oh, I'm sure.
Like crawfish they call them mud bugs in Louisiana and in Texas.
Why. I understand.
Yes, and because they're like the bottom feeder. You get them things from the bottom. So
started from the bottom. Now they're here. On your plate. Looking at you with their eyes like you gonna break me apart. Oh,
they do. Listen, when I first started eating crawfish, I had to have somebody else take them apart for me. Like I couldn't do it. And then not only that, man, the amount of stuff that you have to go through to get a piece. Look, the piece of meat that you get out of a crawfish is about that big.
And that's why
you got to break the head off and the tail, and you got to do a whole bunch of manual labor for that thing.
You got to sign in to LA Fitness to eat that stuff. Here's my badge. Cheek. Put on your workout gloves and your earphones. I'm so excited. I'm a maniac. Man, you got to listen to all the 80s pop songs while you
I love it while you cracking and breaking it.
And that's why I've never been a fan of crab legs. It's like you do all this work. You got the vein going in the middle of your forehead. You got sweat coming from your hairline. And you just get like a feather of crab meat. You're like, what are we doing here? Then you got the people that got the wrenches and they got the hardware. Yes. Like they got a whole toolbox next to them. Like, are we putting together a transmission, or are you eating food?
I'm trying to tell you, I don't know. I've eaten crab before, but yeah, now that is too much work, because I can honestly say that crawfish are smaller, a little bit easier to get apart, but the shells on crab and all that stuff, man, please, you mess around, cut yourself and all kinds of stuff trying to tear into a crab.
Siobhan says colossal crab to the rescue. That sounds even worse, Siobhan. Sounds like even bigger mess. That sounds like that's Olympic type crab eating.
It
like
does.
You got announcers, he's going into the colossal crab. Look at that bicep work as he cracks. Oh, he cracked open the shell.
Listen, I wonder where, because Madison used to watch these ASMR.
No, don't say that. No, tell Madison give me all her birthday money now.
She used to watch them, and it's this black woman who does it, and she got these long nails, and she's
I saw that, and she
yeah, and all she eat like is crab and crawfish, and then it just like she dips it in all the hella butter, and I just be looking like, his death. Look, the Grim Reaper is back there. He
He's
is
back there
looking
like,
at
hey,
you like.
he's like, hey, get her a Pepsi. You get her 2 Pepsis. Wash that down. You need another order, baby? 2 orders. Come fix it. Look, we ain't got all day. I got other people to go see, to go snatch away.
But I be wondering where she got, like, her crabs be huge and the meat that she be pulling out. I be like, listen, them is genetically modified.
Listen,
ma'am.
those are puppies in costumes. She got Rottweilers and crab costumes. A whole human arm come out that mug like, yeah. Dip it in some butter, yeah. Wait for these 2, what the Hulk Hogan used to say, well, these 20-inch pythons run wild on you, brother.
Yeah, brother.
Oh, man.
Oh.
I bet they are expensive. It's human trafficking, Siobhan. What are you talking about? Oh, man.
Oh my god.
All right, let's get to the show. I'm having too much fun already. I just woke up. So I want to start off, ladies and gents. I want to start off talking about epigenetics. And I recall earlier in the formation of this podcast, I wasn't saying the word right. I got it misconfused with epidemiology, but it's epigenetics. Good morning, Dace.
Good morning, Daisy. C-Town where they get beat down. Columbus, Georgia. Check it in.
And so it's epigenetics. And epigenetics is a very important science as it pertains to us as a people. Epigenetics is the study of trauma transferred genetically. Transferred genetically from generation to generation, especially if you don't work on correcting it. So I was talking to, let's just say, a peer the other day. And anytime I talk to people my age or older about some of the things that we are participating in and suffering from, it's always,
well, those young kids, and it's the youth, and these younger people, and they just don't care, and they just disrespectful, and blah, blah, blah.
And I'm listening to him, I'm like, but who created that young person? Not only that, people go the routes they go based off of the 3 E's: your environment, your exposures, which give you the experiences. Environment, exposure, and experience. How does that tie into epigenetics? Once you understand that as African people born in this country, descendants of slavery, of chattel slavery, your genetics are continuously being altered. Every time you have if you don't understand this science and you haven't done the shadow work, as they say, that's a new catchphrase. You got to do the shadow work. If you're not working on yourself, if you're not working on some of those past issues that have been handed down to you, then you're going to ultimately pass those down to your children. And in passing them down, you're creating an environment. You're creating an environment that's exposing them to certain experiences, which is curating their perception in life. And I had another conversation with a young lady, and I was breaking epigenetics down to her. And she said she had never heard of epigenetics. So I gave the same spiel. And although this information is public knowledge and you can go and you can spend 5 seconds to 5 years on research and it's public, she told me she didn't agree with it. And as someone that doesn't have any children that I know of, you got to say that because of Maury Povich, ladies and gentlemen.
Please continue.
Yeah, because my Barry White is leaving me. somebody without children, I have the capacity to look like at the entire board, whereas some parents, you don't have that opportunity because you're steady just trying to provide and survive. You don't have that bandwidth. And so as somebody that was once a child who is now a full-grown adult with a mini beard today, I look back at the experiences and environment and exposure, and I can say, okay, I get that. And so if by chance or when the chance comes or the opportunity comes that I do have children, now I know that there are certain components that I can't just leave out. And if I'm not comfortable with it, that doesn't mean to reject it. That means to learn more about it. And so in this talk, I want to talk in about epigenetics. It kind of drills into conflict resolution. That's another thing that's not really harped on with us. That's why, well, one of the components in our dysfunction, why it's so easy for us to fight if you stepped on our shoes that cost Nike $5 to make, even though they sold it to you for $200. Why it's so easy to kill each other over, he stepped on my shoe and disrespected me. That shoe cost Nike $5 to make. They charged you $200, but that was your fault. But a life is not worth $200. So I want to play this from. I hope I don't mess up her name. It's
Miss Ali.
Let's just say Miss Ali. Let's just say that. Thank you, co-host. Can you hear that, Kiana?
Mm-mm. Am I the only one who can't hear it?
Was you able to hear that, Kiana?
No, I wasn't able to hear it. I asked if I was the only person that was unable to hear it.
Could you
Did
hear
everybody
it?
else hear it?
Was you able to hear it at the beginning of the show? I mean, before we went live?
No.
Okay, hold on a second. Okay.
And I got my earbuds in today, so you can't clown me on that.
Let's see. How do I bring that in? Bear with us, ladies and gentlemen. No. I remember it was just like
Don't mess my song up. Don't you do that to CeeLo.
You know what? I'm gonna play it through my phone.
We have to look at
Can you
our
hear that?
condition
There we
in
go.
the light of
Yeah.
truth. Stop reacting emotionally and pretending that just because we don't want to. One of the most difficult things that I deal with out here is trying to teach our people the difference between an actual fact and an opinion. Our people think that they can accept or reject truth based on how they feel about it. Your feelings don't change the truth. The truth is just going to be there. You can feel any kind of way you want to feel about it. Those kind of emotions have kept us from growing. Because anything we don't like, we just reject that and say, well, I don't believe that. That don't mean that it's not the truth. It just makes you a disbeliever. That's just the truth.
Okay. So you got that right.
Yeah, I heard that.
And so going forward, and I always, at this point in time in society, we should be leaning on data, not feelings, not belief, not I don't agree or disagree. It's not for you to agree or disagree. It's for you to look it up so you can empower yourself. And so, just thinking about epigenetics, when you look at the trauma that has been passed down just through the history of chattel slavery, the black codes, Jim Crow. Yeah, and then all this happening now. And then the stuff that you endure as an individual, that you, once you have a baby, it's like you go to a fast food restaurant and say, let me get the 2 combos and pack it up. And you package it up and then you just say here without knowing that this is what you're doing. And so now you have a younger generation of people that are a reflection of that. Now, of course, you have a lot of social engineering. You have a lot of social constructs that are also in the gumbo, if you will, in the ingredients of this dysfunction. But you can empower yourself by chipping away at each thing little by little, just with slight changes. It's like when I used to have a roommate, he was working out. One thing he did that within 2 weeks he dropped like 5 pounds. He stopped drinking soda. He changed one thing out of his normal lifestyle, and that made a huge impact into his overall life. So the show that we've created, I've covered a lot of the same points over and over and over. A lot of them I just don't feel like they're being heard, even though they're sort of basic. But a lot of times we are afraid to step outside of the tradition of what we've been conditioned to adhere to, even though it's when you ask somebody to write it down on paper so you can see it and I can see it. When has these ideals worked? When? And there's a big fat 0 right there. But yet and still, we continuously do the same things, expecting a different outcome, which is what? Insanity. Let's see. And so conflict of resolution. It's really telling how easy it is for a lot of us to just flash, whether it's fisticuffs or just an argument. Now you can have a debate without arguing, and when I'm in the conversation, I can, depending on what I say, I can kind of feel when an argument is going to come, just based off the body language or the rebuttals. And when you have the data right here, it's like, okay, we don't have to argue. Like I was talking to somebody and they was like, no, it's this. And I was like, no, it's that. And I was like, hey, let's just Google it real quick. Let's just end this before it starts. And I mean, although you just don't Google one thing and you be like, that's the answer, that would be foolish.
Yeah.
Google is a starting point. And what throughout my travels, I find that there's a lot of us that are so afraid of the internet based off of what other people have told us that we won't even open up YouTube. We won't open up Google. Who wrote that? I don't trust all of them. I don't trust it. That's not how information works. It's not just one person. It's a collective of minds that get together and they confirm, verify, or deny. And then there's data for you to use your brain. That's a computer. This is a computer. This is where the computer is based off of.
CPU.
Yes. You utilize the processing power that's there, and then you put it all together. So that's just something that I want to touch on this morning. And the next thing I want to touch on, and this is because this is wild, because when I was a child, this would have been a field day between the last 5 to 10 years for me as a child. And that's having your children start their own business. And one thing that made me think of that is I've heard so many people within the last 3 to 6 months, especially here in Georgia, complain about their yards not being mowed. Don't you know that would have been like when I was coming up, I was trying to find people's yards to cut. And now, so my homeboy, he lives up somewhere far up in Marietta. And he's like, man, I can't get nobody to cut my grass. I said, what? Like, kids aren't cutting grass anymore. They're just sitting in the house playing video games. And that's not their fault. That's the parents' fault. So I just want to go over a few steps for the parents out here that have kids that, and some of you parents call your children lazy. Don't do that. Don't do that. They sitting in that house playing that iPhone that you bought them. They didn't buy that. They playing the video game that you bought them. They didn't do that. So you created that laziness. So with no further ado, let's go through the basics, some basic steps in getting a lawn care service.
All right. Okay. Come on.
Now, I'm not an accountant. I'm not a business coach, although I've helped up to 7 people get the LLCs within the last 2 years. But I'm just learning as I go anyway. And wise people understand that they don't know anything because there's too much to learn. You will always be a student, even if you graduate to being a teacher. So, first things first, and I'm glad we got Siobhan online because she might can, throw a little something in there too. But first things first, start the business. Go to your Secretary of State. Fill out the registration form for your LLC. Get the name verified. Pay the, like $25 or something for them to check to make sure the name isn't registered. Boom, you pay for the LLC. It takes like 2 weeks before the articles of organization to come back. And after you get the LLC from the Secretary of State, you go to the IRS and you get an EIN number. That is the Social Security for your business. Once you've received the LLC, the EIN number comes the same day. It's free.
Yeah.
Then you go to a banking institution and you open a business bank account. From there, mama, daddy, auntie, uncle, grandpa, nana, babysitter, cousin, whoever, help this child start investing in hardware by going to a pawn shop. Buy a lawnmower for about $30, $50. I don't know how much they're going for in the pawn shops, but they can't be too expensive. Get them a weed eater. Boom. Now your child doesn't have to ask you for money for the Jordans, which I would tell them to invest in Nike. I wouldn't tell them to give Nike $200 for shoes they spent $5 creating with slave labor at that. So we have to, the children are a reflection of us.
Mm-hmm.
And these steps aren't so, when I was a child, I remember asking multiple family members how to start a business. And somebody, I don't know who it was. I don't know if I did it through the bookstore. You know, when you go to school and they have the little book thing that comes through. I remember getting a book on how to start a business for kids, and it was about a lemonade stand. It never said anything about the LLC, the EIN, and if you're going to be selling products, you need a business license in that county. That book never said any of that. It was just on some cartoon. Well, you can start a business. Well, how do you do it? I just told you how to do it. Parents, I just told you how to do it. It's that simple. And then you can create a contract with multiple families on your block to where you just go and you just cut their yard every other Thursday, every other Friday. They don't have to be there. You just start cutting and trimming, and then they automatically deposit currency, funds, bitcoins, however you want to, whatever, into an account that you used. Hold on a second. They done froze me up. Hold on. Are you froze too, Kiana?
No.
They just froze me. They hating on me. Why you wanna Player hate on me. Why you wanna hate? Why you always got to do them thick runs?
How they thick?
That run was
They
thick.
thick.
Hold on.
Something is wrong with you. Yo, listen, the terms that you use to describe stuff, I be questioning like an ashy throat, a thick run. Why is it in terms of of width?
I've been that descriptive my whole life. My teachers used to be like, "You're a great writer. You're very descriptive."
Okay, now I think I'm froze. Oh, nope, there I go. There I go. But you got it? You getting it together? Hello? You still there? Well, while Jamil is getting his stuff together, how's everybody doing this weekend? Do y'all have plans this weekend? What's going on? Uh, where you at? Those who are from Indianapolis and that are from Atlanta and all over that are watching the show. Which I got going on this weekend? And how's the weather there? So I'm in Indianapolis, and me and Jamil always have these ongoing jokes about Indianapolis. It's kind of cloudy here, so I don't know what's going on. I don't know if we you back? Oh, he's back. Okay. You get it together?
No. But oh well.
No.
I should have hooked up this other camera. But anyway, y'all can see me froze. Anyway. Look like I'm singing a tune to you.
It do. It look like you are like you are blowing. Okay.
Yep, I'm in one of them thick runs. But anyway,
I don't know what a thick run is.
where did I stop at? So pawn shop, get the gas, get the thing. So yeah, then they deposit the money into the account. Once a child see themselves making money, they will be more amped to do that than sit on the couch and be indoctrinated by music videos, by video games, and especially once a child or a teenager has to start spending their own money, they become a little bit more frugal when it's not your money that they spending. So they learn they learn to appreciate money at a young age instead of just burning holes through it. So these are things that parents can do to offset a lot of the stuff that parents complain about when in regards to their children. And the last thing I want to touch on, and this is coming from somebody that was a child once. I always have to preface that because parents will be like, "You don't understand. You don't have kids." I was a child once, ma'am, sir. Ma'am, sir. Sir, ma'am. Stop talking to the kids. Stop talking at the kids and talk to your children.
Talk to them.
You know how you talk to the children? You lead by example. I know people that tell their kids, "You need to read this book." Well, have you read it? No. What?
Yeah.
So how about you read the book, or how about y'all read it together?
Yep.
And I guarantee you, and I'm not a child psychologist, I'm not a psychiatrist, but I guarantee you, you'll start to see some type of change. I mean, this is not rocket science. You'll see some changes. You'll see the child start to be more motivated and more enthused about relying on self-reliance. So, and within that, Kiana, did you have a fun fact?
Um, I do. I
Oh,
just wanted to go over what it was that you sent me.
okay. So before I relinquish the floor, and in that business creation, let's let's teach our children about the 3Ds. I spoke about this plenty of times, but now I kind of want to break down the 3Ds and what they mean to me. Dedication, discipline, and determination. Hold on. She got something to say. Yeah, some parents will try to dismiss you if you don't have. Yeah, but that's just out of insecurity, and that's just saying that they don't want to do it because they just don't want it. Anyway, yeah, you're right. So 3Ds, dedication. So I was having another conversation with a friend, and he asked me, "What's the difference between Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, and like Michael Jackson, and those of who have been exalted into history as legendary icons? What separates them from the average man or woman? And let's say that they have talent." And I was breaking down my understanding of those individuals, and not just those individuals, but the characteristics that they took to get to where they ended up being, which was a very intense dedication, a very intense discipline, a very intense determination, some of which that you can't buy. You like this, you have to have a feverish desire to get to a certain point, because the things that you do are things that the average man and woman just refuses to do, or they just can't do. So dedication is getting up even when you don't want to get up, when you don't feel like getting up. Michael Jordan played a finals game with the flu. Now, you're not doing that in 2021 because that means you're passing out COVID. But even even though those basketball players sweat and breathe all over the basketball and pass at each other, then they go to the bench and have to put on a mask. But MJ, he played in the flu, getting up, going to the gym when you don't want. When I look back at my health fitness journey, which has just now been reenacted after a year or two of of just saying F it. I've after you've been doing this for so long, you just, man, forget it. Where the snacks at? That discipline wore off, boy, after years and years of. But it's getting up in the morning before you clock into work and going to the gym. Now, the hardest part is waking up at a certain point in time, especially in the wintertime, to go do something like that. But as soon as you get to the gym, you're glad that you went. And keeping consistent at that. That's the dedication. Not just you get up one day and be like, whoo, boy, that was a good workout. I'll see y'all next year.
Which a lot of us do.
Man, I know people that got gym memberships for years and be like, hey, man, when was the last time you went to the gym? Oh, shit, in 72, back when Dr. Julius Irvin. Well, why do you still got a membership? Shit, you just never know. I might need to get back in the gym. Yeah, you think?
I think gyms know that too. But anyway.
Yeah, they do. And the thing about dedication, here's one thing about dedication. You cannot be around people that don't have that drive, because they will convince you that you don't need to do something, or they'll tell you to go and do it. Like, say if you were a spouse and you say, baby, I want to go to the gym. And things like that, eating right and stuff, especially when you live with somebody, y'all have to support each other, because if one person eats hog maws and chitlins and you sitting up eating kale wraps, that's going to be a problem down the line. So, the person that's eating hog maws and fish and chips all day, they be like, all right, go ahead and go to the gym.
Don't I know it?
So you have to be very intentional with your dedication. So when I would go to the gym, there was a year where I took the last photo shoot that I actually paid for. I would go to the gym twice a day. I went once before work, and then I went once at lunchtime. And if I missed lunchtime, then I would go after work. But I was performing so much that the only time I could go would be before work and at lunchtime. And I found myself wearing a size, what was it, like a size 33, 34 in the waist pants. I haven't done that since, was that 2014, 15. And them jeans are still brand new, ladies and gentlemen. They're still in my closet because I will get back into them. Amen.
And amen. Amen.
I am determined to get back into them brand new Levi's sexy jeans. In those jeans. Okay, I'll stop. But in doing that, I had to remove myself from certain friends, like the friends that wanted to stay up late, because in order, and this is another thing, you have to trick yourself. So you want to get up and go to the gym at 5 a.m, be in that bed by 10 o'clock.
More.
Have that cell phone turned off, or, put it to the side by 10:30. There's things that you have to sort of put in place. You have to create that environment. The next one is discipline. What is discipline? To me, discipline is listening, studying, and then executing. A lot of people will tell you things that they think they know, but they haven't studied, so they haven't learned it. And that would equate to you're not even listening. There's people that, and that's not to say just because you're older than somebody that you're wise or you know more, because there are a lot of old fools out there. But I know sometimes I talk to some younger people, and instead of hearing the points that I'm saying, instead of listening to the book titles and these other things that I'm saying, these studies that I'm saying, they're not even listening. They're just talking about how they don't agree. And I'm like, bruh, okay.
Bruh.
Yeah, bruh. Not listening, and you're not studying. So if you're not listening and you're not studying, then what are you actually executing?
Right.
You're just going through the motions, going in a circle. And the last D is determination. Determination is similar to dedication. You just, even in the midst of you being dedicated, you be like, man, I can't. Yeah, I'm dedicated. I'm coming to the gym for the 4th time this week, but man, I'm not going to work out. And then that determination is like, oh no, you going to get your fat ass up and work out. Oh no. You remember what you used to look like in high school? I was prom queen. That determination to be like, and now you prime fiend. Get on up in and get in that swimming pool and get what you need to get done. And some people, I don't know if this doesn't work. This probably doesn't work for everybody, but in my ear, I'm that voice. I'm that mean voice. And let me I'm not the mean voice. I'm the real voice. Okay. And when I say real, it's like, hey man, get your fat ass up and get to the gym. You're like, damn. Gotta say it like that? Okay, I'm getting my bag together. Shit. Man,
Right.
You so harsh. Shut up and get in the gym. You have to be your own Sergeant Slaughter when it comes to, if you say you want to write a book, if you say you want to make some clothes, if you say you want to film something, if you want to put together, you have to be that drill sergeant in your ear. I was talking to a mentee yesterday, and he was in this conversation. He was sort of starting to slack off. And I was like, listen, man, anytime that there's an opportunity to start chipping away at the things that you say that you want to do, chip away at it. Don't sit and wait for tomorrow. Don't sit and wait for next week. You're not promised to that. Anything can happen. But while you're here and while you're breathing, go for it. And we're not perfect. So if you slip up one day, okay. But acknowledge that you slipped up. Don't give yourself any excuses. Because I said before in 2 shows ago, excuse is the prerequisite for, procrastination. And procrastination is a prerequisite for failure. So with that being said, that's all I had to say today. I just wanted to make sure. I just, it just came into my spirit. And
Came into your spirit.
Yeah, and I was like, man, there's too much information out here for children, for adolescents, teenagers, not to be making their own money. especially when you have, I mean, you look at the grocery store, you look at the fast food spots, these are the things we grew up doing. They're becoming more automated by artificial intelligence. And so to really get that brain started to where when they get to be 20, 30, and 40, that they'll have this self-sufficient mindset that they won't see themselves as workers. They'll see themselves as owners and bosses. And even if it means to get into those different industries, but you're getting into those industries as owners and bosses and not workers.
Yeah.
So that's it. So thanks everybody for listening to my rant. Now we're about to get into the fun fact with Kiana Gore.
God dang.
Fun fact ain't playing. Oh well.
What's going on?
Yeah, when you
know what?
When you start speaking truth to power, stuff starts glitching. But you go on ahead.
All right, so I was sent a link by Jamil in regards to a music form that we are very familiar with. However, there's no face to the genre of music. And oftentimes when you ask Black folks, hey, what type of music you listen to? Like, it's a lot of Black folks that be like, shoot, everything but, and this music form is country. And even though I'm sure it's a lot of folk that don't listen to EDM, techno, or, alternative, but that's neither here nor there. A lot of music genres, all of them really have been influenced by that of other music genres that have been influenced by us and our ancestors, and what they have contributed to that form of music. So Jamil sent me a link that put a face to that of country music, and the face was that of DeFord Bailey. Now, before I get into DeFord Bailey, I couldn't go more into him without going into the form of music in which his contribution is heavily made, and which he is totally erased from. And so country music has always been home to African American artists, whether we see it or not, but I'm sure we know that. And just like rock, jazz, and pop, every facet of country, from its instrumentation to repertoire to vocal and instrumental techniques, is indebted to African and African American traditions. But commercial decisions by white industry executives led to their exclusion from the genre for decades. So the Black influence on country music starts with the banjo, which often conjures the hazy image of a white pastoral South. You mostly see the white men playing the banjos, but the instrument is a descendant of West African lutes made from gourds that were brought to America by slaves, and which became a central part of slave music and culture in the South. Soon the instrument was standardized, appropriated, and spread to white audiences through minstrel and blackface shows, which deeply informed the rise of hillbilly music, a term that would later be rebranded as country music. And when we began doing it, when we started, it was Black hillbilly music. The blackface performer Emmett Miller's Lovesick Blues, for example, inspired Hank Williams's own rendition of the song, which is still one of the most beloved songs in country music. white banjo innovators like Earl Scruggs and David Aikman later made the instrument integral to the genre's DNA, and Black musicians mostly abandoned the instrument. So many of the songs that early hillbilly artists played were likewise inherited and adapted from Black sources, like slave spirituals, field songs, religious hymnals, or the works of professional Black songwriters. In country music, it was traced that when when the world is on fire, a hymn arranged by a Black minister was turned into the Carter family's 1928 hit Little Darling Pal of Mine, which was then turned into Woody Guthrie's quintessential This Land Is Your Land. So I'm pretty sure we heard that song when we were younger. Meanwhile, Carry Me Back to Old Virginia was written by James A. Bland, a Black New Yorker who would hardly have found himself welcome in parts of Virginia had he had still been alive in 1940, when it was named the official state song. So the official state song was written by a Black man. And that was for Virginia. While the South remained deeply segregated in the 20s and 30s, Black and white musicians frequently engaged in musical collaboration, even appearing on many records together. Country music details the collaboration between Jimmie Rodgers and Louis Armstrong on 1929's Blues Yodel No. 9. And Jimmie Rodgers was actually coined the father of country music, but he got his influence from that of Black rail workers. So on that song, he yodels and sings the tale of a Tennessee hustler, while Satchmo seamlessly fills the space with Johnny blues licks. Despite the nearly diametrically opposed genre labels they carried, it's clear that they were pulling from a shared musical tradition. And a lot of these traditions were it seemed to be, they said it was integrated, and that country music early on was the earliest form of integration in any music genre that they had ever seen. But they don't show you that. And then they say integration, however, what it was is that white people were working with the Black people that they were stealing from and then later erased. So nearly 50 African American singers and musicians musicians appeared on commercial hillbilly records between the years of 1924 and 1932. And let me see. And during this time, one of the most famous Black stars of country music's first era was DeFord Bailey. So he was treated with ambivalence that sometimes bled into contempt. He was a harmonica player that was born in Tennessee in 1899, who suffered from polio, but overcame it. And he was also called I believe, the harmonica wizard, I believe, or something to that nature. But he was the grandson of a slave who became the most frequent performer on the Nashville radio station WSM's Barn Dance, which became that of the Grand Ole Opry, in which that he actually was a pioneer to that name and the continuous running of the Grand Ole Opry. And he would not receive his credit for any of this until November 15th of 2005, when they finally recognized him. In fact, the founder of the Opry went on interview, I believe, and said that, like some members of his race, DeFord was lazy. So, and because they fired him because of some label issues and him getting paid what he was deserved, just like I went over before with the vaudeville music, the era, which is that of Ma Rainey. Like, a lot of Black artists had went on and had these issues with being paid the money, and then the radio execs couldn't play their music anymore. And instead what happened is the white people went on, took all their music, rebranded it, recreated it, and put a white face to it, and then they're the ones that made money from that. So but he left the industry and wanted to be remembered as being good-hearted, and that those were his words. But he was good-hearted and totally dismissed, like a lot of Black folks and their contribution to that of country music. And I just thought that was very interesting. But if you listen to country music, you can hear a lot of that. You can hear a lot of blues. You can hear a lot of hurt. You can hear a lot of that in country music if you listen to it. So it just has a twang to it. And so I thought that was really interesting.
Yeah.
To me.
Now, let's insert Tennessee whiskey, ladies and gentlemen.
That's definitely influenced by some blues.
Yeah.
Even his vocals and everything.
Tennessee whiskey is my go-to karaoke song, because that's when I get to just act out.
Oh, honey, you sing that for the karaoke? How do you do? Do you do the thick runs?
Oh, of course.
Because he did a lot of thick runs.
My runs are thick. My runs are like the chocolate milkshakes from the 90s. The ones that you couldn't really suck through the straw. You get the brain like... You remember as a kid, you go to drink the chocolate shake through the straw, and like your brain damn near pops because it's just not coming through.
Don't remind me. Those shakes were so disappointing to me as a child.
Used to spend my nights down at the ballroom. That's my jam right there. Blah, blah. But you know what? Growing up in the church, I was like, man, this sounds like country music. But, the church music was a mixture of country music, blues, and hillbilly stuff. All of it, yeah. And then all of it is the contribution of it, yeah. And the runnings have all come from Black folks. Yeah, and then don't let the bass player, don't let him get a solo. Whatever you do, don't let the bass or the lead player get a solo in church in the 90s. And this was before the mega churches. The mega churches, they got full studios and all that.
Boy.
But I'm talking about them little backyard churches where they don't have no air conditioning. They just pass out those broke up fans, and they got an organ in there that don't work all the way, but the organ player make it do what it do with 3 working keys. And then the guitar player, the lead, the bass, and the drummer are all like 400 pounds, but they get busy.
They get busy.
You forget how hot it is in church because of the music. You have one foot into the next realm because you're half dead from the dehydration and heat, and the other foot is
Listen, when I think of that, all I can think of is the scene from Color Purple when they in the church and the lady got the fan and they like, sing God is trying to tell you something. Everybody in there is fanning to death because
it looked musty. It looked like everybody just got done playing 21 at the same time. I got next. Ooh, let me get some Gatorade. Just funky for God.
They in there just fanning. Play God is trying to tell you something.
And then the preacher want to be all up in your face with his funky breath and just say thank you. No, say a mint, Pastor. The back of your neck stink. Get away from me. It's hot.
And your throat is ashy.
Your throat is ashy. I remember one time, and we about to get out of here. I'm just clowning right now. The only time I remember going to church when my father was next to me, this preacher, he was, and I heard someone said, and I looked at my daddy. I was like, Daddy, is he about to die? And my father just fell out laughing. I was like, no, this is not funny. He's struggling up there.
He is on the brink of death, sir. Are we going to help him?
I understand why they gave him that tall, cool glass of refreshment. Now you done scratched up your throat.
They call that what, fire and brimstone? That's what I heard. I heard an older person refer to that type of preaching as fire and brimstone. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, how's that working out for us? All that damn yelling.
Besides that, of contributing to ashy
the building
all over the world.
It's gonna be one day when black people just gonna look at these preachers and be like, "Is that all you got? Can we learn something about finance or something? What are you talking about?" Oh, okay. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this has been the Jamil Harley Morning Show. Anybody else? You got anything else to say, Kiana?
No, y'all enjoy yourselves today.
Yeah, this is a beautiful.
Enjoy y'all loved ones. I always say that. Enjoy y'all loved ones, and have a nice weekend.
And real quick before I go, shout out to my mama. Of course, we always give the shout outs to my mama Dukes, but I also want to give a shout out to my Aunt Gila. She probably won't hear this, but I just want to make sure I do my part because she stepped in when my father stepped out, and it wasn't he suffered from post-traumatic stress disorder from the Vietnam War, from all other type of issues that was passed on to him and that he experienced, so he couldn't be there, but his sister, my aunt lady, she was there, and anytime I think of her, I just be like, man, I miss my auntie. She's still living, but I still miss her. I haven't really been able to talk to her much. But if by some chance somebody in my family is listening to my show today, pass this on to Aunt Gila. Tell her I love her and I miss her, and I hope she gets well soon. My mama laughing. She know about that preacher stuff. But that's it for the Jamil Harley Morning Show. Thank everybody for tuning in. We'll be back next Saturday, the same bat time, same bat channel, and hope to see y'all there. Good night.
You are now listening to the Jamil Harley Morning Show.